Ladies and gentlemen,
only the best internet radio station in the world.
oh yeah!
No, the universe.
The Kota iRadio Network.
Back by popular demand.
Woo!
Now about to witness the strength of street knowledge.
I'm your DJ.
DjBBQ.
Has done over 400 events.
Oh yeah!
5, 4, 3,
2, 1.
Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands in the air.
Let's get ready to rumble! This is Uncut Live. Now, here's DjBBQ. This is DjBBQ of the KotaiRadio Network on the Uncut Live Show, and we have a special guest. We're back with the prediction shows. We have Midwest All-Pro Wrestling's referee, the natural, Ethan Iglesias. Mr. Iglesias, thank you for taking time for the show on these predictions. It's been a while. How you been doing?
I've been doing pretty good.
Has your dad gotten you anything special for the holidays yet?
No, unfortunately not.
Yeah, well, we'll have to talk to that man and make sure that he does. Anyway, this prediction show is going to be pretty cool because it is Impact Wrestling's final resolution, which starts in a matter of hours tonight on their Impact Plus streaming service. That being said, let's get to it right away, shall we?
Yep.
We have the Impact World title match, and I should say that these are in no particular order, but if you want to add us and say that we were wrong on the prediction battles, go ahead and look up the Kota iRadio Network, which is Kota iRadio NetWK on Twitter, or else at UnCut Live Show. That is UnCut Live Show on Twitter. Okay, let's get to it again. We have the Impact World title match, which is Rich Swann versus Chris Bay. Now, between those two, they're very athletic. They're very charismatic. Who do you think will win that match and become either and new or and still Impact World Champion?
I'm going to have to go with and still Impact World Champion Rich Swann on this one. Don't get me wrong, Chris Bay, he is a very skilled, very athletic wrestler. He reminds me of Ricochet in some ways, but I'm going to have to say that Rich Swann retains the title.
Right on, right on. I'm going to have to say Chris Bay is a new World Impact Champion because he actually did predict this when he was younger. He had the championship in his hand, and it's a story that is like the same as Shawn Michaels. It's a boyhood dream finally coming true. But like we all have to do, we have to check it out tonight. The next match is a very good match because it's a Good Brother versus the North Brother. And that would be Karl Anderson versus Ethan Page with Josh Alexander in his corner. Now, one thing that we have to keep in mind that the Good Brothers are the Impact Tag Team Champions. But when I look at the card, it does not say that Big Gallows is in the corner of Karl Anderson. So that's interesting to bring up. So, but let's get to your prediction. Who do you think, the Good Brother or the man from the north, the Karate Man himself, Ethan Page?
I'm going to be a little biased here and say that Ethan Page is going to pull this one off.
Interesting.
Coming from another Ethan, I feel like the Ethans are the dominant guys. So, yeah, Ethan Page is going to win this one.
Well, I would have to disagree with you on this. And I'm going to go with the Good Brother, which is just too sweet. Okay, that was a cheesy plug. Let's move on, shall we? The next one is an old school rules match. It's Larry D versus Tommy Jerema. Who do you have in this old school rules match?
I am probably going to have to go with Tommy Dreamer just because Larry D, he looks like a tough dude that probably wrestled a crocodile when he was in his teenage years. But Tommy Dreamer has seen some things, and he has done some things that are very, very
extreme
hardcore.
Extreme and hardcore. Yes,
extreme and hardcore.
Okay, very interesting. You're going to take Tommy Dreamer on that. I'm going to go with the younger athlete, the more mobile athlete. Like you said, Tommy's seen some things and been through some things, but I think we're going to have to definitely go with Larry D being the winner out of that match in the old school rules match. Now, the next one is kind of interesting because we have business partners versus a married couple, which is Tennille Dashwood and her business partner, assistant Caleb, versus Eddie Edwards and Alicia, the husband and wife duo. Now, both of them can get pretty hardcore as well. So who would you pick in this tag team match at Final Resolution?
I'm going to go with the married couple on this one because they know each other literally. That's why they're literally a family. Caleb and Tennille Dashwood, they're just business partners. So Tennille's like a boss to Caleb. So Caleb's like a pond in this one. So I'm going to have to go with the married couple.
I will have to say I'm not familiar with Caleb. I know that he's pretty good in the ring. I've obviously seen Tennille Dashwood. She's excellent. She's a ring general. But I would have to say, when it comes down to it, you can't, bet against the married couple because they're really familiar with themselves. Business partners know how to argue and not get along. With that being said, let's go to this tag team match. It's a women's tag team match, which this is going to be pretty nasty because all four of these athletes could beat the crap out of anybody, especially with Havoc and Nevaeh, the monsters of the women's division, against the Sea Stars. Well, now, this ain't no SpongeBob show no. When I say Sea Stars, but these ladies are really, really good in the ring. So which tag team would you go by? And yes, ladies and gentlemen, I know the individuals of each tag team, but we're going to call them just by the tag team, the Sea Stars or Havoc and Nevaeh. Please, Mr. Iglesias, the natural, give us your natural prediction.
Nice pun. But I'm going to have to go with Havoc and Nevaeh on this one, just because the Sea Stars, they look a little soft. Soft. I'm just saying.
A little S-O-F-T soft?
Soft, yes.
Okay, well, all right, yeah, I'm not going to disagree with you on that one. The monsters of the women's division, especially tag team, yeah, I'm going to take Havoc and Nevaeh as well. That's a good choice. Moving on, we go to the Knockouts title match. Now, this is going to be interesting because both competitors, the champion and the challenger, have people in their corner. We have the Virtuoso, Impact women's knockout champion. Dino Peraza with Amber Lee in her corner. And we have challenger, Decay member, Rosemary with Taya. Now, Taya is a former champion as well, and so is Rosemary. So you have a little more of a veteran on one side than the other. Who do you take? Do you take challenger or champion?
Dina, she's had a very, very strong reign as champion, but I think Rosemary is a little too insane in the membrane, pun intended. So I'm going to go with Rosemary on this one.
Got insane, totally insane. You're going to go in there, and I think you're insane. I'm going to go with the Virtuoso, the champion on this one. They're pretty crafty, the both of those two, Amber Lee and Dina Peraza. That being said, we will go to the more mysterious match on the card. It is the Impact X Division champion putting out a challenge to have anybody defeat him. Defeat Rohit challenge is what it's called. So who do you think is going to come out and defeat him or challenge him nonetheless?
I was going to say Kenny Omega, but I realized he was doing something else in Mexico. So
yes, he's defending his AAA championship against Laredo Kid tonight.
So I'm probably, because the Ethans are the dominant guys, I'm going to have to go with EC3.
You think EC3 might make a show tonight? That's pretty interesting. I, on the other hand, do not know really on who is going to really show up, but I do think there will be a title change. I think there will be a new Impact X Division champion being said by none other than Hall of Famer David Penzer tonight on the Final Resolution. So it'll be interesting. We'll have to wait and see on what happens. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, viewers and listeners, this is in no particular order that we are going through this, but if you want to add us and you disagree with either one, majority I would say that you'll have to disagree with the referee, because what would the referee know? They usually don't call it down the middle. You can add us at UnCutLiveShow on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook, or you can find the KotaiRadioNetWK, which is at KotaiRadioNetWK on Twitter. You can find us on Instagram. Don't add us on Facebook. You can go find Mascot Kota Bear on Facebook, because that is our Cardo news page. But I digress. Let's go to the next match, which is going to be pretty interesting because it's a little unfamiliar with a regular match that we've had. You know, we've had matches with guest referees, as Mr. Natural, you shall know, in professional wrestling. And our viewers and listeners shall know that there's usually in matches, there'll be an enforcer, either one or two. There'll be a guest referee, one or two. But in this case, we have a match against two Brahma Bulls with special referee Kira Hogan and special ring announcer Tasha Steeles. Now, you can't sleep on these two ladies because they're pretty crafty. But the challengers are Hernandez, Big Mex, the OG, the LAX King, versus Falaba in this epic one-on-one match. They're both big men in the ring, and they both have power. Who do you think will outpower who?
Well, I'm going to have to go with the veteran in this one, Hernandez, because he's a badass-looking dude.
Yes. I would have to say, even though that he is a badass-looking dude, I would have to give it to the big man, Falaba. He's really agile. He has a lot of power. And I would say you can't bet against Fallah Bahh. There's just no way. Anything else you want to, kind of, you want to add to this? Because, I mean, remember, we have a special referee and a special ring announcer, and both girls are tag team partners. Partners in crime, partners in the ring.
Well,
you are a referee, so you know how this is when there's interference.
I know too much of this, but I don't know why there's a special ring announcer. I've never seen that ever, but I feel like the special referee might get involved with this, but I'm still picking Hernandez on this one.
Well, dollars to no nuts and dollars to discos. That usually happens, that the referee usually gets into it. So we'll have to wait and see. Once again, this one's going to be exciting, folks. This one I'm waiting to see because we have the modern day psycho, Eric Young, with his big bodyguard, Joe Doring, and Eric goes against Rhino, the Gore.
Huh.
Now, keep in mind, both of them are very salty veterans in the professional wrestling game, but the ace in the hole is Joe Doring in Eric Young's corner.
Well, I feel like Rhino might win this, but there's a but. I'm going to have to go with Eric Young on this one. He's just also insane in the membrane.
Yes, I would agree with you. But only on, and I had to think about this a little bit, only on the fact that, yes, he's very insane in the membrane, but I can't go against and bet against Rhino. He is an ECW legend. He is a Pro Wrestling Future Hall of Famer. And he is one tough SOB. I say the Gore wins this match, this bout. Now, overall, with this card, which match that are you most excited for? Because I told you I was excited for this one with Eric Young and Rhino. Which one are you really excited for out of all of these 9 matches?
I think I'm going to be most excited for the Rich Swann versus Chris Bay. But there's also another but. I feel like we might see someone very, very important in the Open Challenge match for the X Division title.
So you're looking forward to that one then?
I'm looking for both of them, but yes, the X Division title one.
I will have to add, though, because this is the UnCut live show on the Kotai Radio Network podcast, I would have to say, though, it will be pretty interesting with the Impact World title match that I'm looking on my screen here.
Yep.
You know, the boyhood dream, I hope, in my opinion, will come true tonight. It'll be very interesting on what happens on that one because of the circumstances that happened on Tuesday with the AEW champion that did show up, because it's been pretty interesting. They haven't said much, but yes, he is in Mexico, but still, it is interesting how that's going to wind up, because they did mention the Impact World title match, or the champion at least, if excuse me for that mistake. So that being said, I thank you. I bid you adieu, and good night. Bang!
Ladies and gentlemen, Cole Dawson here, host of the Pro Wrestling Uncut podcast and big brother of Candice LeRae. Join me and my co-host Ron Kilbourn every week as we discuss pro wrestling, all things pro wrestling. We discuss new, we discuss old, we talk to some of our friends from the wrestling business, and we even do a little bit of fantasy booking. So find us everywhere where you can download your podcast, like, subscribe, share, and tell your friends, kids. Have a good one. Mwah.
Is it your dream to become a professional wrestling superstar, manager, or referee? Well, you can make that dream a reality by training with Midwest All-Pro Wrestling. Learn from former WWE superstar and NXT coach Eugene Nick Dinsmore. Classes are training right now, so go to MidwestAllPro.com and click on training to enroll today.
KotaiRadio Network is brought to you by Midwest All-Pro Wrestling. Go to MidwestAllProWrestling.com and get tickets today. Remedy Brewing Company. It's the cure for what ails you. Jekyll and Hyde Barbecue. Jekyll and Hyde Barbecue makes barbecue so good, it'll put a smile on your face. And Kotai Radio Network is powered by KBack.Rock. Rock radio the way rock radio should be. Go to KBackRadio.com and listen today.